What's going on, guys? It's another Victory Sunday night. We are here after defeating the Bengals. What was the score to that?
19-7.
19-7. There's some good, definitely some bad as well. We're gonna get into all that. There's certain things we need to go over. But I'm like usual. I'm just gonna run through the stats, kind of see what we had. So we'll start with the Bengals. So Brandon Allen, 11 of 19, 153 yards, one touchdown, one interception. To be honest with you, he really only had one play, and it was because of bad tackling that even got him those numbers. So that's why I was confident, is because we gave up that big long touchdown and then nothing else after that. So Brandon Allen, other than that, nobody on the Bengals is worth noting. Tyler Boyd had that one catch for 72 yards before he got ejected, but we'll get into that. Tua Tagovailoa threw the ball 39 times.
All right, Changeli.
We'll get a round of applause for that. That man started throwing. He had 296 yards and a touchdown. Feasibly could have had 350 if it wasn't for the Jakeem Grant drop. Could have had more if we weren't just running the ball and fumbling and stuffing it at the goal line. So Myles Gaskin did have 21 carries, 90 yards. He wasn't impressive to me. He did have that one 30, 40-yard run where he did fumble. But other than that, we need a running back. We need a running back bad. Mike Gesicki, I'll give a shout out to him, especially because last week, I don't know if you remember, I did say I was kind of over Mike Gesicki. I did say that. And he ended up getting 9 catches, 88 yards, and a touchdown. I like Gesicki, but it's just he does half his job. And if you're going to keep him there as a slot receiver, slot tight end, that's okay.
He did
So
good
Randy
today.
was at the game. He was at the game, so I'm going to ask him, let him start it off. How did you like it?
Yeah, so I was at the game, and it was a fun game, weird game. I'm not gonna lie. In the first half, I was with my dad. We were a little bit nervous to start, but then as the game progressed, I kind of have to think about it from an outside perspective. Or defensively, they really were pretty lights out. I mean, they really didn't allow pretty much anything all game. They had plenty of 3-and-outs. They had one bad play that just bit them in the butt and went for a touchdown off of Tyler
And,
Boyd. So
and on that play, what I noticed is this is just me assuming, but it looked like the Bengals studied a lot of film on our cover zero because we ran cover zero on that play. And the way to beat cover zero is miss tackles because there's no safety deep. So they ran that little out route, and then Byron Jones took a bad angle on
and
that.
that's it.
And yeah, that
Once
was
you
it.
miss one tackle on that, there's no help, and it was to the house. Um, that touchdown came my way. The Jakeem Grant drop came my way. Got to see that through the air. That changes the story. And
So let me ask you, because I
yeah,
mentioned this before. When I'm at the games, I feel like it's so cool because you see Jakeem Grant open before the ball's thrown, and like on TV, it pans and it's like, where's he throwing the ball as the guy open, and then of course it pans at the last second, and then you see Jakeem Grant with about 2 steps and he dropped it.
it's great. I feel like on about half the plays, I can see them developing before they happen. And on about half the plays, I know exactly where the ball's going to go. And that's awesome. The only thing that Jakeem Grant pass did to me was make me want to see more deep shots. We need to take deep shots because I just saw in that play, Tua hit Jakeem in the hands. You couldn't
Right.
ask for a more accurate ball. I don't care if you want to have Burrow, Herbert, anyone throw that ball. That ball hit Jakeem in the hands. And you know what? He's just not a great catcher of the football. I mean, there's some things Jakeem does really well, and catching the ball with his hands isn't really one of those things. And asking him to catch the deep passes, it's a tough ask, I think, for him
After
sometimes.
he has the ball, he's probably the best player on our team,
He's
but it's
great,
just a
but
matter of him getting it.
yeah. So there was that. There was the running game. Overall, I enjoyed it, but I really, really didn't like that in the red zone. I just didn't want them to run the ball. When they didn't complete the fade passes to Parker or Gasecki, whenever they missed a fade pass, I wasn't even upset. I'd rather them miss a fade pass than run the ball because I think when they were running the ball, to me, it almost felt like it was the equivalent of spiking it or kneeling it. Like that's how bad the run game is. It's
I was
terrible.
watching it. I was watching it with my dad, and I was like, it's becoming a wasted play. Like it's literally becoming a play that is just wasted.
Yes,
It's
every
getting that
time.
bad.
That can't happen. That can't happen. I'm not gonna look too forward to Kansas City yet to not talk about that at the moment. But are you not gonna be a playoff team and you're not gonna beat playoff caliber teams if you can't even run the ball on the goal line? And they threw a lot this game, and I love that. The more they throw, the better because there's just a better chance of success
Yeah.
until we get a running game.
Yep. So I'll start it off. So we had that first two drives. Two would have not looked normal. And I've noticed that he's very slow to start games, and I don't, it could be just rookie jitters, when he gets out there, especially after being benched and then the hand. But he looked a little nervous. He missed a few passes. I thought it was his thumb maybe affecting his accuracy, but he looked very good after the first two drives, I think, because then we drove down the field and we did that terrible red zone stand where we ran the ball 3 times, and then the next drive, I believe we got a field goal. Think we got a field goal, and then the next drive we drove down the field and it was halftime. We kicked the field goal. So after that, the offense woke up, came out of halftime, looked great. So Chan Gailey really opened up the playbook. I'll give him a little bit of credit, but it's got to be better.
Yeah, I don't know what it's going to take to get Tua starting a little faster, but I'm not worried about him. I hate when the national media goes on tangents about, oh, is Tua this, is Tua that, are they going to bench Tua again? No. He makes some plays that are awesome, and he throws the football accurately, with far more accuracy than Fitz can throw it. There was a play today that was both my dad and I's favorite play when Tua had a little bit of pressure in his face, and he kind of sidestepped the pressure, and he had, I don't know if you remember, he stepped right around the left tackle, I think, and just got that pass off. And
It was the low ball to Devontae, I think.
yeah, and that's something yeah, that was good, a low ball to Devontae, but just the
Is
fact
that
that
the
he
one you're
made that.
talking about?
Maybe he escaped the pocket a little bit, and it was just a difficult situation to throw, and he made it work. And when he's on, he is on. He throws darts, he throws it accurately. Tua does not worry me. He's a rookie. You can see he's learning on the job, and every snap he takes, he's getting better, and that's going to happen. He's far behind. This is week. What week in the NFL are we in? We're far in the
13,
NFL week, but
13, I believe.
we're in Tua's fifth week. This is and with no preseason, this is like week 2 for Tua in a regular season.
Yep.
So we're getting there. And then something that we didn't plan to talk about that I kind of just want to shift gears to is the offensive line had a lot of shuffling today. We started the day without Jesse Davis by design, by coach's choice to not have Jesse Davis out there. And then there was an injury early on in the game to Eric Flowers and Solomon Kinley. I was curious to see what happens when the left guard goes down. We've seen Eric Flowers in that left guard spot since the beginning of training camp. So when he went down, I was curious to see. But Solomon Kinley went to left guard. Jesse Davis went to right guard. And there was no drop-off in the offensive line. None. So I don't know if that says we just aren't good to begin with or if
Well, Tua didn't get sacked at all. So
he can get sacked. That's good.
I know the Bengals have one of the worst pass rushes, but I mean, still, that's an accomplishment to not get sacked at all.
What do you think about the offensive line situation? Do you have anything like moving forward? Are you worried if Eric Flowers doesn't play? Do you care? Does it matter?
I think Eric Flowers was our most consistent lineman at that left guard position, but I like you said, I don't know exactly how much a drop off will be between Eric Flowers and Jesse Davis. It's a very mediocre line, so I don't know. They need to sign an all pro lineman at
You
the
think
end.
so? You would go that route? I was thinking
If I
about
would have
maybe
signed a veteran to this team, it would be on the O line because they're very young. I would sign a veteran to the team on the O line.
if you can get somebody that's an absolute stud or just maybe someone who's an older guy who could be depth, I would think about it, and I'd maybe think about drafting some like a center or something early, whatever helps the run blocking. I don't know what helps that, but
I think Joe Tooney is a free agent after this year.
Right, because he was franchise tagged. So I would consider that.
So, all right, well, we're going to get into the whole Xavier Howard tidbit. Xavier Howard did pick up his 8th interception of the year. I told my dad, I was watching the game, I said, Xavier gave like 3 or 4 completions, and I was like, they better stop. I said, they better stop. Like, he does that. He will let you at the beginning
have a few
completions. He wants to get done at. And I told him, I was like, they better stop. They're teasing. They're playing with fire. And then he threw a jump ball, and, well, Xavier Howard's probably the best catching corner in the league.
I think Xavier Howard's the best corner in the league right now. Yeah. I really think he's the best corner in the league, and I know people might want to fight over that, but he's the best corner in the league. He could have had 2 interceptions today if he continued to play and wasn't ejected. The ejection was a little bit of a bad call on the refs, but Xavier Howard's amazing. Byron Jones allows Xavier Howard to thrive, so I don't think X would be as good if he didn't have Byron on the other side locking people down. But Xavier's amazing. He needs to be first-team All-Pro this year, Pro Bowl definitely.
I also want to give a shout-out to Nick Needham. We've talked about him the past few weeks as he's starting to improve, and he's really that interception was given to him. I'll give him that.
I was about to say that's not what we're talking about. Yeah. It's
He had a pass breakup
great
on it.
pass breakup on a third
That was
down.
yep, yep.
It was
So I
awesome
give credit to Nick Needham, and you know what? I'm gonna give credit to someone else. I'm gonna give credit to Noah Igbenogany. You want to know why?
because we didn't
Because
hear
I
his
didn't
name.
hear his name
Yeah.
called one time. So I'm giving him credit because Xavier stepped out and there was not they didn't pick on him. They didn't pick on him. I know
they
we're playing Brandon Allen, but
they threw his way once and it was incomplete, and then they just didn't pick on him anymore. But I was about to say the reason you're going to call him out is we didn't hear his name. That's and when he stepped on the field with his orange cleats, he was wearing orange cleats for his "My Cleats, My Cause" today, and I was like, God, he's got a target on his back. I thought they were going to put the bullseye on Noah Igbenogany, just like they did in Buffalo. If X can't play, he has to play next week. X literally has to play next week. If he
so
can't play this,
let's get into that. Let's get into that.
okay,
So Xavier Howard, of course, after the play, it appeared he put his hand on Tyler Boyd as he was falling down, and I guess maybe Tyler Boyd thought he pushed him. He got up into Xavier's face, and I don't know if you saw you were at the game, but the
yeah,
replay showed he did hit Xavier Howard first. And then I think
yeah.
what happened was Xavier hit him in the shoulder and then kind of went like this and then smacked him in the face.
Yeah, it was nothing, but and you know what? There was also an offensive penalty on the Bengals on that play on Tyler Boyd. So if Xavier, it's just so hard. If you're a Dolphins player there, you have to not retaliate in these situations, but it's too hard. Like with all the emotions going, and these are grown men who are tough guys. Like Xavier Howard's a real tough guy. Like if someone puts your hands on you and you're a grown ass man, like you're not gonna not retaliate. But in that situation, you just wish as a fan that they would just stand still like a statue and let it happen, because then it benefits the team. But in that moment, I don't think they're thinking like that.
Did you see the play where the guy stepped on Solomon Kinley's leg?
No, I didn't. They missed a
Okay.
few calls this game.
Oh
The
no, it
refs
was
weren't
after
very
the
good.
play. He like stepped on his foot, like his calf. I'll show you it on Twitter. You'll see it
Okay.
on Twitter. But yeah, it was the same guy that got ejected in the fight, the big fight. Same
Yeah,
guy
these
that
people were fighting. And let's go to that fight with Jakeem. Poor Jakeem. And before we even talk about any of the fighting, dude has to fair. You're 5'4" and you're
yeah.
a small returner. He needs to fair catch the ball, because there were times where I'm sitting there looking at the punt in the air in person, thinking like, fair catch, please fair catch, please fair catch, and he just didn't. And like. Sometimes he can get away with not doing that, but against the Bengals, I think they have a good special teams unit, and I think that's why I think our gunners got beat, and that never happens where our blockers get beat,
Yeah.
but it happened today. So
Yep. So hopefully Xavier Howard doesn't get suspended. I don't think he will. Devontae Parker, on the other hand, I don't know. He did throw a punch. He
he was
did hit a
punching.
coach. He did hit a coach. I don't know if it was on purpose. He like swung and it looked like his arm might have hit the coach's head while he was swinging at a player. I really hope they don't suspend him.
I think Mac Hollins got ejected as well,
Yeah, he did.
and that's not good, because you. This is the problem moving forward. Is we have to really hope that both of those players can return for next week, because I don't know how you're going to beat the Kansas City Chiefs with who's the number one receiver after that? Jakeem Grant? Does Jakeem Grant become your number one receiver?
Grant, Lynn Bowden, and Callaway.
That's not. I did like Lynn Bowden did go good today, but those
Yeah,
three people are not.
yeah,
Those are not start. I don't even think those three people are like your second receiver on most teams, or third even. Those are
yeah,
like depth guys. So
yeah. I don't know. Hopefully, I don't think they will. If they really think about it, I mean, it's a nationally televised game next week. Um, they need Devontae Parker out there. Like
okay,
we
that's a
need
good
all the
way to
help.
look at it. That's an
We need all
interesting
the
way to
help.
look at it. You
I
think
don't
that
know
the
if they.
NFL will pull their magic to
Yeah.
kind of want Devontae? Okay, I can see why they would want Devontae out there, but
Yeah, and then of course we got to talk about Coach Flores. Man, I love that guy.
love Coach Flo.
That was he. I couldn't tell on TV. Was he the first one to kind of lead the
First,
charge?
he ran out there.
Oh,
After that
really?
hit happened, he was like one of the first people. He ran to the Bengals sideline. He yelled at the player that delivered the hit. He's yelling at the coaches. The best thing about Flo is during press conferences, he's totally like quiet and he just doesn't want to say anything. Very
Hate
Belichickian. And then on the field and on the sideline, he's nothing like that. If you're at the game watching the game, he's not quiet at all. He's very passionate. He stands up for his players. They love him. This team would run through a wall for him.
Yep.
I love him. I hope Coach Flo stays forever. Well,
Yep.
longer than anyone that's on this roster. I hope that Flores is here for a long time, because his attitude and his coaching are great. The adjustments they made in the second half were amazing.
I
So
also want to give a
mhm.
shout out to KVN, Kyle Van Noy. He had 3 sacks, I believe.
Yeah, he had a
Uh,
good game, and yeah, he had a lot of good tackles, good sacks. He had some run stuffs.
Shaq Lawson played well. Manuel
Shaq was
Ogba
great.
played well. Christian Wilkins played well.
Yeah,
It was a very good all around game. It's just the thing that really held us back was the first half offense. If you're not looking at the first half offense, and I mean, it's a different game. If the
yeah,
second half offense plays like they did in the second half, it's a different game.
yeah. I think that was good. The penalties this game were more than usual.
Yep.
There was more penalties than you would normally get, especially on the defensive side. What's really nice though is on offense, you still since Flores got here, there's hardly any penalties. Andrew and I always talk about like thinking back as a Dolphins fan what it was like 5 years ago. And 5 years ago, it was false starts almost every drive. You could count on a false start. You could count on defensive penalties everywhere. This team doesn't commit penalties. They don't beat themselves up. To beat the Miami Dolphins, you need to beat the Miami Dolphins. You need to, outplay them if you want to beat them. They're not going to beat themselves.
So let me ask you. Oh man, I just forgot. I was gonna say. Um,
Where were we going to go with it?
oh,
Coaching.
oh, did you watch the Alabama game?
I didn't, but I heard that Devonta Smith had a phenomenal game. I heard he
Yeah.
did great in Najee Harris. I'm a huge Najee Harris fan. I didn't catch it. I'm gonna go watch the highlights after this to see on YouTube. I love Devonta Smith and Najee
Yeah.
Harris. If that's where you were gonna go with that,
Yeah, I was
sign me
just
up.
just wondering. All right. Well, other than that, I want to also give a shout out to Lynn Bowden. I know we previously mentioned him. I think he didn't make a lot of plays, but we saw him more this week than usual weeks. Um,
I'd like to see the ball in his hands more. That's all
yep.
I have to say about him. Is I liked what I saw today. He made some catches. He ran some routes. There were some good RPOs this game. I would like to see more of that. I don't know why we can't see more of that. So I think we should, especially if we're going to be depleted at that position group. I would just the problem with the young group that we have is like how much trust you can give in them, right? Do you trust do you trust Lynn Bowden to write to run the right routes? Do you trust Antonio Callaway to run the right routes? Do Tua trust them? I don't know. Does Tua know where they're going? So it's going to take time, and I like him. I'd like to see more, but I don't know if the trust is quite there from the coaching staff just yet.
I'd
Just
like
yet.
to see him get some handoffs. Can't be any worse.
I would love to see him in the backfield because you're right. Literally can't get worse. Like I said, I feel like when they run the ball, sometimes it really does feel like a knee or a spike.
Hmm.
That I hate that. I don't want to have a goal line. It almost makes me wish they hadn't cut Jordan Howard. I need someone on the goal line who can like get the 1 yard. You just have to get the 1 yard.
Yeah. So we're 8-4, a lot better than I'm sure any of us really expected. We are in that stretch the whole season we have been talking about. We are officially in that stretch. It is on to the Chiefs. We have the Chiefs followed by the Pats. Then we play the Raiders and then Buffalo, right? So realistically, you need to go 2-2. Do you think they go 2-2 or better or worse?
They can. I think they can at least go 2-2. And I'm not going to be an optimistic Homer fan. Look, I'm about to give a shot of truth serum here. For good, for worse, for anything. This is what I think about this Miami team. I think this defense is good enough to keep you in any game with any opponent. I think if we were to play the Chiefs, the Steelers, who else is the Packers, anybody who's a top team in the NFL right now, this defense will keep you in the game. Now, the other side of the truth serum is this offense. I don't know if there's a moment where it clicks. I am hoping if Tua gets better, you've got a better shot. But we have no running game, zero running game, and our offensive line is mediocre, and we do not have weapons at the wide receiver position. So this whole stretch is going to come down to one thing: a defense and a special teams unit that could. We almost had a special teams touchdown. We didn't even talk about it. The only thing stopping us from having a special teams touchdown today was a fake field goal, Andrew, where they lined up in
Oh
the
yeah, 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 yeah.
and what is that formation called? The mountain? Is it the
I,
Mountaineer?
I
I
don't
don't
know the
know.
information.
That
Yeah,
formation that they were in. The only reason that touchdown got called back is because the rookie lineman forgot to report as eligible. Had
yep.
they reported as eligible, that's a special teams touchdown. I trust that unit to the moon and back. I trust Jason Sanders, sorry, and I trust Hawk the
Oh,
punter to be able to get out there. So My thing on this last stretch of games, and let me know what you think on what I just said, is the defense and the special teams will keep you in any game. You will always have the opportunity to win. I do not think Mahomes is putting up 40 points. I don't know if he's going to score 30 points. I think you could hold the Chiefs to 24 next week. I really think you could hold the maximum the Chiefs will score is 24 points. But on offense, where do we stand?
Well,
That's the next question is what happens with this offense. If they can score points, we only scored 19 today. If they can score points, we can win. If they can't, we won't. I think yeah, I think you should take it from here, but that's where I stand on that is we have a defense that could win any game and an offense that I don't know how to feel. I think that it's a developing offense that needs weapons. That's just depleted talent, and I don't think Tua is going to be the thing that holds this offense back.
so we look at certain games and like the Cardinals game, the offense looked great. That was probably the best offensive game we've had. Second half of today, offense looked very good. The play calling opens up. It's almost like I don't. It's like there's two really different offenses, really different. There's some teams will have like, oh, consistent 14, 10 points a game where it's like, eh. But I mean, we have 30-point games against the Cardinals. We have a second half offense today that did great. I mean, Tua had almost 300 yards,
Yeah, he did
right?
almost have 300 yards. I like I said, I'm not worried about Tua. Everyone's always talking about Tua this, Tua that. Don't worry about Tua. Worry about a receiving core where your first receiver is Jakeem Grant and the second one is who? Lynn Bowden? Who?
Yeah.
Callaway? I'm literally asking. You have no idea who this receiving core is at this point, and you have no running game. I'm not worried about Tua. He's
So
not what's going on.
If Tua had a running game, I think it looks way different.
I think this is a
And
Super Bowl team if they have an offense. They're a team that is playing with no offense and they're 8-4, and they don't have anything really going for them on that side of the ball. I think this is a Super Bowl team if you could just add a potent offense, one that can run.
I'm watching the Chiefs game right now, so if you see me look, that's
No,
why.
that's
Um, so, anyways, as far as the future outlook, so I will not count us out of any game,
you
and
can't. That defense will keep you in all of them.
I will not count us out. The Chiefs are 10-1, and let's see I mean, they're playing the Broncos right now, so in reality, we want the Chiefs to win just because the Broncos do hold that tiebreaker on us. Um, I'm not going to count us out. New England is 6-6.
I'm not worried about New England.
But see, I don't know. I know they have a great defense, and I know they run the ball a whole hell of a lot.
They beat up
Okay.
on the Jets and the Chargers, and like
They beat the
it,
Cardinals.
they did beat the Cardinals. So did we. So and the
Yeah,
Cardinals are 6-6 right now.
yeah.
So
Well, I don't know. I think the Pats secondary is very good. Um, we'll see what happens there. Buffalo, I think we can beat. I think we can beat Buffalo, and then the Raiders. It should be a win. The Raiders should be
the
a win.
Raiders are looking less and less like who we thought they were. But yeah, I'm feeling optimistic looking forward. I have to remember, think about this defense. They had 6 sacks today. They had 2 picks. I think last week it was something very similar. They've given up 10 points in 2 weeks throughout the season. I think if they're not the number one scoring defense, they're top three scoring
Number
defense.
two.
They're number two.
I think they're number two.
Number one or number two scoring defense. I like my chances against Mahomes. Mahomes is amazing. He's the best quarterback in the league, but he's not a god. Like he's human, and he's lost games before. He'll lose them again. The Flores, I'm sure, can put up a good game plan. My thing is to beat the Chiefs, you need to score about 28 to
Yeah.
35 points. Can you? 30. I think you need to score 30 points or more to beat the
They
Chiefs.
can. They need to bring out that no huddle more because that thing was rolling.
Bring out. And you know what? Also, I don't know if this team thinks this way, but maybe on defense, did you notice today there was like no amoeba defense? There was really no cover zero, and on offense, it was also a little vanilla. Do you think they're waiting until next week to like just let the? I don't want to say like let the dogs out, but like maybe they're just kind of. I don't want to say holding their sleeve against the Jets and Bengals, but maybe they're holding back a little bit so that they can just put it all out. I think this week is a week you just have to go as hard as you can.
I mean, that's a fair question. I mean, there's no way for us to tell that unless they come out with a totally different game plan. But I think that's a fair question. They could win. They both those games were winnable without their best effort.
Right,
And I
so maybe they were hiding a bit of play calling. I think maybe they're saving some stuff. You notice that on the offense, Remember earlier in the season when they were using those, like Tua even was involved in some of the like misdirections where like maybe Shaheen crosses the formation and then comes back out on a play action. Then you get a wide open pass. All that fancy smoke and mirrors on both offense and defense were not there the last 2 weeks, and that's probably by design. I think everything this coaching staff does is by design. I think they know what's coming up.
Yeah,
So
definitely could be. I'll be at the Pats game. So next week we got Tony Romo hosting us at 1 o'clock. So
the Chiefs game is a 1 o'clock game. Yeah.
yes.
Okay. Cool. That'll be exciting. You know what? That's a great game for Dolphins fans because losing that game doesn't bother any of us. I don't. I'm
We just
not
got to
bothered.
play tough. We got to play tough.
I think if you win that game, you're in an amazing position because then you've got to beat the. I think the Patriots, the Raiders, and the Bills are, like you said, winnable. I don't see why you couldn't win those
Yeah,
games.
man, it's getting that time where it's getting a little uneasy for us and the past because we know we've been tarnished by this kind of stuff where we've been so close and it's like we don't want to feel that again,
Well,
especially as young guys.
Well, December football has been historically bad for the Dolphins under previous coaching regimes, but Brian Flores' December record is actually really, really good. Last year, they won a majority of the games that they won in the season in December, and they did it against good teams. So,
So let me put an idea in your head. I believe it might have been you when I talked to you. It might have been. I'm not sure. When we beat the Rams or when we were about to play the Rams, someone, maybe you, maybe someone else, told me, "Oh, y'all beat them. Brian Flores played these guys in the Super Bowl and scored 3 points."
I think I said that. Yeah,
What do you think about? I mean, he's played the Chiefs multiple times and he's 3-1. He's
he's
three and
had
one.
great results with the Chiefs. I feel the same exact way. I feel like Brian Flores, he's so smart and he's such a good coach. They know what to do. And Josh Boyer is a hell of a defensive coordinator. I really, really don't want to lose him this offseason to a head coaching job. And I know that that sounds like, oh, like they wouldn't lose him to a head coaching job. He's a first-year defensive coordinator. I've seen Vance Joseph get a head coaching job on an Adam Gase-led Dolphins team that played terribly. And he got a head coaching job, and that defense was awful. So Josh Boyer definitely could leave, and I don't want to see him go anywhere. I think that this coaching staff could totally craft a plan to just wreck Mahomes' day. How are we standing on injuries on that side? I know that Eric Rowe came back into the game. Thank
So
God they can't play without Rowe.
so we'll see how practice goes this week. But even Eric Rowe, I'm not. These guys a lot of times they get a shot in the locker room and they come back, and then the next day. I mean, I hurt my shoulder the other day. It didn't get worse till 2 days later. So you really never know.
Yeah.
Atlanta Roberts looked pretty serious. He was in a sling.
Okay.
So he might. I mean, he might be out the whole year. That's
You
just
need this defense to fire on all cylinders, and I bet they could come up with something good. The question is, will Tua rise to the occasion? And I don't really know how this Kansas City Chiefs defense is. I think they're okay, right? They're
I don't think they're anything to brag about.
If
I
the
don't.
defense isn't anything to brag about, we've just got to rely on Gailey and Tua to try and get things done.
I can't name any players in that second. I don't watch the Chiefs to be real with you, unless it's Super Bowl playoffs. I can't name anyone in the secondary. I know they got Chris Jones on the D line, but I can't.
That'll be tough.
Tyrann Mathieu. They have Tyrann Mathieu.
Okay. Yeah, that's somebody.
That's all I know.
Yeah, I think they're just a solid, well-coached team. But I love. Okay, think about this too. How does Brian Flores do against fancy offenses like the Rams, the Cardinals, the 49ers, those McVay, Shanahan offenses with all the motion and all the confusion and stuff? I've seen Brian Flores dominate those teams this year without even. Those are not the offenses that seem to give us trouble. So Mahomes would be the guy to give us trouble. It'd be himself, but. I bet they could shut Kelsey down, and their running game. I don't think is anything. I don't think Clyde Edwards-Helaire has been great, or Le'Veon Bell. I don't think he's been a factor. I'm gonna watch right after this. I'm gonna watch the Chiefs game.
Yeah, I'm tuning in. It's still 0-0. The Broncos are driving down the field, but
How much time is? What quarter are they in? Can you see?
Oh, it's the first.
First, okay, yeah. I'm gonna catch that game after this, and
I hope the Chiefs
scout
win because I don't want them to lose. Because what are the chances the Chiefs of losing 2 in a row?
Oh no, are they at home right now?
I don't know.
Okay. So yeah, we hope that the Chiefs lose this one. We need them to come into this game over. The problem is,
No, I hope
This
the Chiefs win.
Yeah, no, we want the Chiefs to win so
Oh,
they can
okay.
come in, overconfident. But this isn't gonna happen anymore. You know how people come into the Dolphins and kind of sleep on them and say, "Oh, it's just the Dolphins." You can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
You're coming into this team knowing it's an 8-4 team. You're coming in knowing that it's a Brian Flores coach team. You know who Tua is. It's getting to the point now where people are going to start taking us seriously every week, and we're not going to get those games where in the past this is a game that the Dolphins pull off that upset sometimes just because like people sleep on us. But I don't think that's happening anymore. I think we're done with that. So
Yeah, hopefully,
those days are behind us. No, I don't. Do you believe that this team has got it right now with the coaching staff, the quarterback? I do. Do
I believe in that. I do believe in the coaching staff. There's pieces missing that show up big on some weeks. Like it's so hard to run an efficient offense when there's no run game. It's so hard because the run game opens up the pass and the play action. If you're not running the ball, nobody's going to step up. Those linebackers and safeties are going to sit there and laugh. Like they're not going to step up.
but did you okay? So if you were the GM, did you have this game? Did you have last offseason? Did you think you could fix everything in that one offseason? No.
We're eight
This
and four with the
needed
ninth. We're 8-4 with the ninth overall pick right now. I mean, you can't beat that.
Yeah, we
You
have the
can't
ninth
beat.
overall pick, 22nd pick. Like they're gonna fix the run game. I'm sure they will. You don't think they know it's a problem? They know they can't run the football. Everyone knows they can't run the football. They'll they'll
I
fix
want
it.
those. I want those Alabama boys. I want Najee Harris, and I want. I'll be good with Jalen Waddle or Devontae Smith.
And I'd like another offensive lineman, whether it's free agency or the draft. I like the youth that we have on the offensive line. I don't care. Get someone and make them compete. And also, I'd like to draft a quarterback in this next draft, not to replace Tua. Tua gets hurt a little bit. Tua already missed a game this year. I would just like some insurance. I would like to grab somebody like Ian Book from. I know you're a Notre Dame fan, right? I love Ian
Get
Book,
book,
right? Don't you like him? Just
book
as a
it,
backup.
book him to the Dolphins. Book
Yeah,
it.
book it to the Dolphins. Get Ian there, and I don't know. That's just some stuff I'd like to look
Yeah,
forward to in the future, and I think that the future is bright in Miami. No question.
yeah.
No question.
So, all right, let's give our little score prediction here.
I have not put any thought into this, so let me think. I'm gonna predict. Oh God, I really want to
Well,
predict a win. I really, really. It's a home game. I really want to predict a win. I'm gonna go a loss. Dolphins 17 to Chiefs 24, and I'm gonna say actually, yeah, 24, 24. I'm gonna say
okay.
that Pat Mahomes doesn't score more than 24, but oh God, I'm scratch that prediction. 24-20 loss. I think we can get to 20 points. I just think that it's going to come down to this offense not being able to run the ball out, and the defense can't play with the lead next week. Probably won't, most likely won't be playing with the lead. So I'm going to say 24-20 loss to the Chiefs next week, and I wish I could predict a win, but
Yeah.
it's illogical to me. What do you
All
think?
right. So I think our weaknesses will exploit us this week. I think
Me
our
too.
pass rush is very streaky, and Patrick Mahomes has all day, all the time. I don't know if it's because of his O line or his pocket presence, but a lot of the times he's just chilling. He's just chilling. And I think that will exploit us. I think our run game will exploit us. We're going to have a lot of pressure on Tua. Only thing I am confident in is he was an Alabama quarterback. He's played on the big stages. He's not going to have any of that in the back of his mind, like, oh, I'm playing Patrick Mahomes on national TV with Tony Romo broadcasting me now. Tua's going to be calm and composed. I think he'll have a good game. As far as the score prediction, I'm going to go Kansas City 30, and I'm going to go Miami 20, 21, 21, 24, 21 or 24. My
Somewhere in
30
that realm.
yeah.
I don't think that Kansas City scores 30, but I respect your prediction because I bet it could happen. If X is out, scratch my prediction and
There's
let me
no
make
way.
you one.
There's no way he's not playing. If he's
That's fine.
not playing, there's a problem.
If he's not playing, there's a problem, and there's going to be a problem in Miami because Noah Igbenogany's going to have a bullseye on his back, and I would
Denver's
not want to
currently
see that.
winning. Denver's winning 3-0, but Chiefs are about to
That's
score.
that's nothing. I'm not worried about that.
Mahomes got all day. But all right, well, a little shorter segment, but I'm all done. Unless you got anything to add or anything
No,
else to talk on, we can keep going.
nope, that's it. Truth Serum was there. I think this is a great team with a great coaching staff, and I love Tua. I think that he is just going to get better and better. He's thrown no interceptions. He's gotten bailed out a little bit,
Yeah, but
but
see, I call that champions luck. Champions luck. He's
champions
got
luck
nailed
for
it.
him. Who cares? Let it roll.
Yeah.
He's gone 5 games, won 4 of them, no interceptions.
He didn't look like Herbert the pervert.
Yeah, Herbert the Perfect. I don't even want to get into Herbert. That's going to be for postseason. We can get into the
Yeah, we didn't
Herbert.
do this after the Chargers game. I would have loved that. Man, I would
Yeah,
love to rip him.
yeah,
But
absolutely. So yeah, I guess that's it for us, and we'll see you guys in the next one after
yeah,
next week. And I
hey,
hope that we come with the same vibe next week, and that we're
we're
not
eight and
having.
four. We're 8-4. We are here in the thick of the playoff race in 2020, and hope we're all excited as we are.
Yeah,
So,
let's go. Fins up.
all right, guys, peace.